Okay, good morning. After a fairly eventful day yesterday, which went completely not to plan, we've got up pretty early this morning and we are hoping to go to the Three Gorges Dam. We have a sort of guide to take us to a few places. It seems Matt at J is well up for the Chinese style breakfast.
Bean tofu, stir-fried sort of chicken with spices, and bok choy, and a couple of boiled eggs.
A couple of eggs. Oh, really don't know how you do that in the morning, mate. Okay, so we are set to go exploring the Three Gorges Dam,
You know what it's like outside right now?
Huh?
You know what it is right now?
What?
It's fantastic drone weather.
It is.
Mother beep!
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's a shame.
The sun is shining off the mountainsides.
Yeah, yesterday
Dinner would be illuminated.
we were warned pretty seriously that we are, absolutely under no circumstances allowed to fly the drone.
No wiggle room. No wiggle.
There were talks of a foreign guy who did that a little while ago and got into some serious trouble. So we're not going to be taking that risk. So sadly, we won't have any bird's eye views of the Three Gorges Dam, but I'm sure we'll be able to get some decent places and show you around. I was just saying, in a lot of Western countries, someone with a hat, glasses and mask on, you'd be a bit afraid of, wouldn't you?
Yeah. It's kind of a bit dodgy, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, we think we might have kind of sussed why they don't let you fly drones around here, because potentially, if you were wanting to attack the dam, you could use a drone to be like a homing beacon for some sort of missile or explosive sense. Or even a bigger drone. You could actually use it to drop an explosive. So when you think about it like that, obviously it's a very strategic sort of installation, a dam this big, you could cause serious amount of damage.
Yeah, that
so they
does
have
make
got
sense.
to protect it, and that's probably why there's so much security surrounding it. I saw a sign on the road that no petrol tankers are allowed near it and all that kind of stuff, because obviously from a security point of view they really need to keep it pretty secure, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah, we're the only ones at the dam today. There's about 500 coaches inside and we're the only 4 people here, which is great, because hopefully we'll be able to get some nice shots. So this is the most real you can get on the ground at the Three Gorges Dam. No special effects, we haven't got anything going on, anything weird. This is how it is. We were just talking in the car, imagine the devastation if that dam broke, or there was an attack on it or something like that. All of that water 600 kilometers back would gush out, and there's over 120 million people in the floodplain, and that if that happened, that would cause a tsunami right in the middle of the country in every direction, and that would be unstoppable. So fingers crossed that doesn't happen anytime soon. The dam here is over 2 kilometers long and it's 175 meters tall. Try and wrap your head around those numbers. Over 2 kilometers long. I'm looking at it here and my eyes can't take in that it's that long. Like, it's pretty far away and it looks absolutely huge. but the fact that it's that long is just unbelievable. And there's water gushing out of those sloughs, and they must be, how far do you reckon they're protruding from the dam? Like, they're gushing out at such a pace that it must be coming out at, like, I don't know, I don't even know, 50 meters? No, maybe not that far, but very, very far. You take a look. You wouldn't want to be caught in one of those, would you? Because you wouldn't be lasting very long.
I could give you a try, take it to the sky, if you give me one good reason why you deserve my time, why you should be.
So there are certainly some positives and some negatives to talk about when it comes to building a dam of this size. You know, this is the biggest dam in the world. There are 22,000 other dams, 22,000 other dams in China that are above 15 meters tall. And it basically means they've got a total control of the water flow, or more control of the water flow in China. So I think the reason it was built is so that they can take some flooding away from what's happened in the past few decades, because they were having serious flooding issues in the past few decades that were causing droughts, that were causing plagues, and it was causing huge problems for certain provinces. So they built this dam in order to you know, try to fix that a little bit. But when you're doing something of that size, you are really making a change in the ecosystem. You're making a massive difference, and Matt was telling us before about how some of the sediment from this river is used to fortify the land underneath Shanghai. So when they've put this in place, that's changing. So I'm a little bit concerned about what could happen 100 years down the line that they were not able to predict when they put this plan into action.
Also, it's something interesting. When they built the dam, right, they anticipated it would generate enough power for 10% of the power needs within China. It now accounts for somewhere between 1 and 2%.
Okay.
So it just shows you how the demand for power has massively outstripped their predictions, like 20, 30 years ago, you know.
And 1 to 2% is nothing to sleep on. That is a lot.
That is a lot of power.
When it comes to a country of this size. But if they were predicting 10, then that's considerable.
Yeah, it just shows you how things change, doesn't it? And I think when it was built, they predicted it would stop all floods. There'd be 1 in 100 years that it would stop, and now they've sort of revised that, like maybe it'll stop 1 in 10 years because of the way the climate's changed in the world.
Yeah, and
there's much more rain. And
so a lot of people have been commenting on the videos recently, asking about the floods in Chongqing and the surrounding areas, and just give us a little bit about that.
Okay, so there's been about 160 people lost their lives, which is terrible. And there's been about 20 million people affected.
Yeah, it is definitely a tragic event.
However, you have to get it into perspective. Without that dam, it could have affected many millions more, and there could have been many more lives lost. What the dam allows them to do, it allows them to control the flooding. That, you know, they've got to the point where something has got a flood, somewhere has got a flood.
And they're able to...
It gives them more control of it. Maybe, you know, if they couldn't control it, you'd have flooded a massive city with 5-8 million people.
But they're able to guide it a little bit.
Yeah, so they're able to kind of control it a bit more.
That is playing God a little bit, and in a sense, you couldn't see the positives and negatives about that, because no one wants to have to make that decision of where to flood. Flooding anywhere is terrible. But it does soften the blow a bit to take it away from a huge city.
Yeah, well, I'd imagine they've got a lot of smart people who are looking at all the statistics on a daily basis, and I would imagine they would flood areas with least population.
But look, I don't want to. We're sounding so cold by saying that, because obviously it's still tragic that they're having to direct the water towards more rural areas, which it may not have gone to before this dam was created. So, you know, there's two ways of looking at it. So we've got a slightly different angle on the dam here, and as we were walking up, I said I was surprised that I can't hear the water, you know, hitting the other water coming up the sloughs. But the others just mentioned this is a solid concrete wall, and it's just millions and millions of cubic tons of concrete, and that's obviously blocking all the sound, because look at the state of the size of this. Like, I don't know how you can see this through the camera, but I'm telling you now, that over there is a bloody long way away, over 2 kilometers away, which is just absolutely absurd. And we were saying Trump should come here and get some tips from the Chinese of how to build the wall, because he might get some ideas. Yeah.
You see this island down at the far end of the dam? It's got a road, like a service road that comes down and it wraps around the island. I'm told that in some of the information as I was doing some data gathering, that depending on how high or low, you can tell by looking at that island. It's a very easy way to say the water's high, the water's too low.
Can I see that some of the road is in the water?
Yeah. So it's partly submerged right now.
Look just here, right? So you can see a watermark on this wall. Now, that doesn't look that much, maybe a couple of meters, right? But what you've got to imagine is, if you've got a reservoir that's 600 kilometers long, to raise the water level by 2 meters, that is an immense amount of water.
Think about the volume of water it would need to raise it a centimeter over the course of...
So it's crazy. 600 kilometers long, and that's obviously raised up. You can still see the wall is damp there, look. So this must have been a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then this here, which we thought was land, this is actually garbage that has come down the river, and as Matt says, there might be a kind of an inlet here, so it collects around that inlet. And I sort of mentioned that I wonder why they don't clear it, but you know, that might be just a few days, yeah, because there's so much water flowing into here and
from so much cities, so many population, centers
all over the north of China. Is coming into this area here.
Yeah,
phenomenal. Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. What we have here is a couple of machines that were used in the construction of the dam. These obviously were the actual ones that were used, and they look like Caterpillar, which is obviously an American company. But you can just see how big they are. Kind of interesting that there's no brand on them. So if you see this truck over here, that would have a huge cat logo on the front of there normally, in letters that are about 30 centimeters high, and the digger would have it on the cab doors maybe. It does look like Caterpillar to me.
In 1998, just before the dam was built, there was a flood that affected 2.3 million people and disrupted train service in Wuhan for 100 days, okay? So if you think about those two floods, and then you think about the flood, like let's say in 2010, the South China flood season, the dam contained 70,000 square meters of floodwaters inside the dam. So there was no flooding on this side of the dam during that event. But that volume of water that the dam held was way more than the flood in 1998 that affected almost 20 million people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, so it shows you that it is doing a job.
Yeah. So like the recent floods that were in July 28th that affected 20 million people probably would have affected 40 million people.
Maybe more.
Because the dam stopped it up to a certain point, and then beyond that it just couldn't hold back the floodwaters. So to think that the dam is doing more harm than good with regards to flooding, I think is a very false assumption.
Yeah, I think that more of the harm comes from ecological perspective, because you were mentioning the pink dolphins have gone extinct, right?
Yeah, just about. And like dam building.
So here we are coming up to the
this is the
front view of the dam, and look at this.
Just to build a project.
Oh my God!
Hundreds of millions or billions of dollars of business to America. There'd have been architects involved.
Holy moly! The Three Gorges Dam, the biggest dam in the world. Your eyes just can't take that in, can they?
Doesn't look that big, does it?
So here, what a sight to behold. You've got the whole Three Gorges Dam, 2.3 kilometers long. You really can't take it in. You know, this construction project was that big, it actually slowed the rotation of the Earth. Try and get your head around that. It slowed the rotation of Earth per day by 6 milliseconds. Because it displaces that much water and there's that much concrete that it actually changes the entire planet. And you know, that's a bit of a controversial one, whether you agree with that or not. It's an interesting fact anyway. There are guys down here fishing, look. How crazy is that?
So if you look here, you'll see the substation, and then you look at all the grid, all the power cables that fan out from it right across the mountains.
How many do you think are within eyeshot? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, like 100.
And if you look up there, they're right across the top of that mountain range.
Yeah, just like what we were talking about.
And then exactly the same over this side here. So it just gives you an idea of how much power is being generated from that one dam. To distribute all that power. You know,
how many products, how many businesses, how many people's livelihoods, how many,
on the power from there.
A small portion of that power coming off is, you know, making our cup of coffee tomorrow, or you know, powering the hotel we stayed in last night.
But we're going to wrap this video up here. We've had a great time.
Yeah, it's been like a once in a lifetime opportunity to see the biggest dam in the world. So you can see it in the background here, and we will wrap this video up. If you do want to see more, you know, stuff on the ground from people who are here in China giving you exactly what it's like, then subscribe to the channel and smash the thumbs up and share all that good stuff.
And we appreciate all those people who support us on WeChat, those people who buy us a coffee, those people who are Patreons, because it's down to you people that we can keep doing this for you. So a massive thank you to you guys, and a thank you to just everybody who comes and views our videos as well.
All right, well,
you know, it's just great.
We'll see you in the next one anyway.
As always,
take care.
Take care.
You are the most long-winded guy, man.